want to play Aztecs versus the French. Let me see if I have all the setups correctly. I also should check the map quickly. Conqueror has 4 hunts. Forjustice has also 4 hunts. These are stacked on top of each other. Then there are 3 mines, 3 mines, 1 mine, and it's a gold mine at that. There are a ton of wood treasures and in general good treasures on this map. So France with the extra scout are a good choice therefore. And also Aztecs with their strong warrior priest and the pets that they get. It was, I believe, a coin start or a food start. And it looks to me like a food start because we don't see a coin crate in the Aztecs player's base and he hasn't picked up any coins so far. So Conqueror electing anyway to go for the market start, which you usually can do, especially if you get some good treasures. And he has already gotten 40 wood, and the other treasures are from his opponent, but 40 wood already speeds up your hunting dogs by quite a bit, and another 40 wood coming in for Conqueror. Yes, my babbling distracted me from putting up the correct logos. Conqueror is from the bigs, and then have to, no, that's the wrong one. Yeah, this is looking good. Nothing is overlapping, so we should be good to go. And this is only the first game that there's quite a bit of setup to do, but now we should be doing better. Forjustice going for an 80 coin treasure, maybe waiting for his convert to get ready again, and at the same time Conqueror getting 85 wood treasure. So pretty good treasures for both players so far. I'd say with that 85 wood, Conqueror is a little bit ahead. That's gonna speed up his TP by quite a bit, and he might get an extra pass in if he positions his Explorer quickly, but he also has to be careful. His Explorer is quite low XP now and can get snared and killed by the Aztec war chiefs. The macaque treasures, or I guess monkey treasures in this case, have been nerfed slightly. You now have to kill some monkeys themselves to get them, so they're not free to pick up anymore. And that makes the monkey spam, which is actually decently strong in H1, a little bit weaker, because these monkeys, they actually die like coyotes in 3 hits. Looks like Conqueror gonna go for it. Nevertheless, monkey is still a good pickup, and Aztecs probably looking to H up with the 2 Warhead, Politician, and France, of course, with the 400 wood. France gonna go for a TP and in transition, and this map is a little bit difficult to place your warheads in. Looks like, where's the other tiger? Ah, it's up there. You can place one here, and I don't think you can place one here. So the warheads, if they get placed in the middle to control the map and put pressure on his opponent, they could be awkwardly placed, and that could leave other routes to his opponent's base open for Conqueror and make the map control style from Aztecs less strong. Because this is pretty much what we have been seeing from Aztecs the last few weeks. They just use their new Asia Politician to the fullest, and it makes the civilization quite strong, I think. They just get so much mass out. Yeah, they have true production facilities right away. 500 wood basically is a very good Asia Politician, and it just complements Aztecs in general very well. Looks like a ton of pets exploring in a tiny group. I think they're gonna maul this macaque if they find him. Although the macaque is faster, slightly, but it is faster. Conqueror now getting his market upgrades in. Let's see what he has completed so far. Yes, the traditional hunting dogs, placer mines, and 129 overchop for the gang, not the gangster, steel traps. He's herding in 2 additional hunts. The others are quite far. Maybe could also bring in this one, but it does cost some villager seconds, of course, walking the guy out there. But we really do need hunts, safe hunts, especially versus Aztecs. Forjustice up with the Warhead Politician. I'm interested to see where they're gonna go up. And Conqueror immediately having his Explorer position in a very good spot to spot where the Warheads are actually going. And I think he spots one, and the other one, yeah, they will have to be placed a bit apart, or actually not, but they are now a lot more further back than Forjustice probably wanted to. And Also now scouting the second warhead. Stable going up in the back. Looks like sea traps is already being researched. And interestingly, Aztecs did not go for a TP yet. And usually when Aztec goes for this map controls build with 700 wood right away, they really like to take a trading route, which is not really possible here. You can take one TP, but France has already the other one. So not really much booming potential for Aztecs here. And looks like this scout barely gonna escape. I think the CDB blocked him right in time, and since he has no range attack, the scout can escape, which is quite good for Conqueror, since that scout can still provide a lot of map knowledge and intelligence to himself. Some hussars in the queue, some pikemen in the queue, and also 10 mace have been shipped. So looks like Forjustice is giving up to put the pressure on his opponent after the 700 wood to get his infrastructure, houses rolling, also a market. He has hunting dogs now, and Conqueror needs to get away from this. What's he doing? I don't think he was paying attention there. Maybe he was trying to get some sneaky shots at the Mason, but he just basically lost one hussar worth of HP. Probably just a miss rally. And this net scout barely escaping the vision of the Aztec war chief. This guy probably gonna go down. Coyotes getting mixed in, and more hussars in the queue for Conqueror. Hussars are quite strong against Aztecs in general, because they only really have the pikeman unit to deal with it. Coyotes are not the greatest unit against them, and Mace Holden obviously not as well. Barracks going up. Maybe a bit late, considering it's almost a minute after, or 45 seconds after the 700 wood came in. I guess it's reasonable, but he needs to get units in the queue right away. Or maybe he's gonna try to age up. Here's another shipment on the way. This could either be 8 bows, judging by the population it's not gonna be that, or 700 coin to age up. But he doesn't really have a lot of resources in the bank, since he had to train more hussars. Losing a house right now. He has still 300 wood in the bank, so he can rebuild them. It's not the biggest loss. Minutemen coming out. This is a critical fight. They don't have and 8 bows coming out actually. And this can be a big cleanup for Conqueror if he micros this well. The pikemen are on the hussars and chasing them back, and some coyote are on top of the crossbowmen, so that's a bit of horseshit. He does not have the attack upgrade on his villagers, but they do tank quite a lot. And this fight is looking somewhat decent, but he's not really cleaning up the Aztecs convincingly. He's still losing a lot of units. The Pumas are still in good position to snipe the hussars. They, of course, would have to run all the way around, and the Mace just sniping down everything from behind. And actually, Forjustice manages to clean up Conqueror in his base, which is unfortunate for Conqueror, because now this was really the timing he was looking for to catch Forjustice's army and clean him up, and then either kill him in Colonial or go up to the Fortress Age, but he hasn't really been able to achieve that. So he needs to look for an alternative way to win. I think I'd really like to see the attack upgrade on the villager, so it's very cheap now since it got buffed recently. And the CDBs just fight so well. Now a ton of units coming into his base. The house not even gonna get finished. CDBs coming out to fight. Coyotes on the crossbow. And villagers going down. And the crossbows are just getting caught here. They're not really able to snipe down the Pumas. There are no more units in the queue, and this just looks like an insurmountable lead for Conqueror right now. For Forjustice, I think. Yeah, and Conqueror not able to fend off the pressure and has to resign game 1. So it's 1-0 for Forjustice. Of course, Conqueror ahead, but Aztec ships quite a ton of units, so we can see he gets just so much more than the French player. And then this fight was probably somewhat decent for Conqueror, because he did kill quite a lot, but of course Aztec just has so much more stuff. And yeah, we're heading into game number 2. It is Nilla Ninjas against the Bigs. This match doesn't really allow any team to go to the playoffs. They have already been decided, I think, and that is the CMC and the Mandarin Duck squad are advancing to playoffs, but we are still gonna watch a nice game, a beautiful match between two very skilled opponents. Let me have a look at the sound. Seems like people are telling me the sound is quite low. That I should be able to fix. I'm gonna wait for the invite here. Well, my game is not allowing me to look at the sound options, which is unfortunate. It has never done that before. Okay, I am gonna quickly. Actually, it froze. Wow. Okay, that's weird. My game froze. Quickly gonna have to restart it. Please do tell me how the frame rate of the stream is going, since my Streamlabs is telling me that it is dropping some frames, but I don't see anybody in the chat complaining or mentioning it. And now the sound should be a lot louder. I don't even know why this was turned so down so much. But the sound should be better now. Also in the game, and hopefully we're gonna be able to hop into game number 3 straight away. Looks like Forjustice hasn't decided on the civ that he wants to play. The map is Kamchatka, and this is quite a balanced map. And on the summer version there are some goats, so maybe Japan or India are especially preferable, but really any civ can be played here. Okay, Forjustice going for British, and Conqueror I think also greening in for British, so we're gonna have a British mirror. This has also been played quite a lot on this map. This map has good hunts, and in the British mirror the center island, or yeah, I think we can call it an island, becomes very important, because after you get that map control, you basically have your opponent squished in the corner. You can gather and he cannot after quite some time. Alright, setting up for the second game. It is a British mirror. Looks like it was a coin start, so probably both players gonna go for a market. Let me have a quick look at the hunts. Looks like 3 are near the player spaces, 2 are over here. And yeah, perfectly balanced map. Conqueror running straight to the middle to get those goats in. The other 2 are over here. And Forjustice actually not doing that. He got the macaque. And I wonder if for that macaque you have to kill some monkeys, or if it's free and only the monkey treasure has been changed. And he's gonna get 45 food. Not really the best treasure when there's 80 wood in the middle and just goats in the middle. So I don't know why Forjustice didn't go into the middle. And because now he's just giving Conqueror the goats for free, and also Conqueror got a macaque, so he's exploring the middle of the map, which is quite important, and looks like he has realized that Forjustice is not in the middle of the map and he can get that 80 wood freely. Let's switch up the UI so that we can actually see stuff that's meaningful. Looks like both players built a... actually no, only Forjustice building a market. He has hunting dogs in now. Conqueror gonna go for I believe a second mana with that 80 wood treasure, and it's probably quite even. Getting the market in early is nice because you then can research Gangsaw early. But of course an extra villager is also pretty decent. And the gather rate boost that you get from a villager, or 10%, is pretty much equal, I would say. Then the market it scales slightly better. And another 85 wood being found by Conqueror, and I think this just comes down to better map knowledge. Forjustice exploring the bottom parts of the map. He does find 40 wood, not going for it, preferring the 30 coin over here, and he also has found 80 coin, but not picking up any of them. And pardon me, actually a market did go up for Conqueror, and he has hunting dogs, and he actually did do that with his with the wood treasure that he got. So perfectly even in the build order sense, but of course Conqueror is quite ahead in the treasure department, having picked up already 160 wood, and also he has more goats if you have a look at all units. Actually looks like he's eating some goats to get an age up in quicker, and I like this a lot. He's already up at 240 or 241, and Forjustice is gonna be late by, yeah, almost 10 seconds. And this difference can be quite meaningful, because the earlier you are up, the easier you can establish map control in the middle of the map and just secure yourself 2 extra hunts and be a lot closer to your opponent's resources. We might have a treasure contention over this 40 wood treasure. No, Forjustice is going for it right away, and he's gonna find another goat over here and another goat over here. So he does have maybe he has also eaten some of his goats as well, or actually he only has found these 2 so far, I think. A lot of chopping going on. Neither player has Gangsaw. No, actually Forjustice does have Gangsaw, so his chopping is a little bit more efficient. I like getting Gangsaw, especially as British. I think it just pays off only by the transition chopping that you do, and any chopping after that is just then more bonus for you. Both players are at 40 house pop, and the eco population perfectly even. Conqueror is scouting the middle of the map. He's probably not gonna take a TP here, but he's scouting to see where Forjustice is posturing, and maybe he's even looking to snare the outpost wagon, which would be quite a pro play. Snaring the outpost wagon, delaying that it gets up, and maybe then you can even just rush it with your 5 muskets. And now Conqueror is gonna realize that he did a better job in the H1 macro, that he's up faster, and actually barracks going up behind his base and outposts going up in his base. So he's not using his speed advantage, and Forjustice doing the same thing. I wonder what Conqueror's plan is behind of this, because usually this kind of setup indicates that you want to go for a fortress agenda. So most likely gonna ship 700 wood, 4 villagers, and then 700 coin to get aged up, which is a decent option, but I think the premier choice still is getting that map control and try to duke it out in Colonial. but it can lead to quite scary situations where you have to be very on point with your unit control, and the macro is very tight, and you have to get out as many muskets as possible. Even like 1 or 2 muskets that die or do not get produced can swing the game. And looks like both players therefore going for a little bit of a safer option. And I think Conqueror has scouted that Forjustice is going for a more defensive agenda, but Forjustice really has no idea what Conqueror is up to. His scouts have been in this part of the map and the entire game so far, and he's making longbow behind this. And let's have a look at the units in queue for Conqueror. He's making muskets, so longbow's more of a defensive unit and a very fine choice, I believe, since he doesn't really know what Conqueror has over there, so longbow are the most reasonable choice. Maybe Freyatic's gonna be able to escape. Probably. More houses going up. Conqueror is somehow ahead. I don't know how. He has built 3 more houses. Maybe he has just chopped a lot more. Because the military population is in favor of Forjustice, but he's not really doing anything with it. Because he's not, he can't really push out, or you shouldn't really push out when you don't know what your opponent has. And he doesn't know what his opponent has. He's correcting that now. He's sending in his scout. And also some muskets getting made. So both players being very passive. The exact same build orders. Getting now placer mines in, and Forjustice doing the same thing. And actually Conqueror did get Gangsaw somewhere along somewhere in H2. Explorer going down, that's a pretty nice 45 XP pickup. Conqueror's shipment is already on the way, while Forjustice still has to wait a little bit. Not the greatest deal though, although it does deny some scouting for Forjustice. And I can only see that this game will go on into the Fortress Age. Explorer going in for Conqueror, looking if Forjustice maybe giving up for some sort of timing, because as British you are quite vulnerable while you're trying to age, so he wants to be completely safe. He's getting some scouting done. He sees Forjustice does have some units, but that doesn't really give him the most information. Forjustice could still be hiding units somewhere. But nevertheless going down, shipping 700 coin, and I expect the same thing for Forjustice, and he almost has the resources to age. And I'm not sure how long it takes to age to H3. I think it's like 90 seconds. So he's gonna be quite vulnerable here, but he does have 5 more villagers, which he just basically spawned out of more efficient use of his wood. I really, it probably was the wood that Forjustice invested into these longbows that made him slow down his build. He did actually go for 600 wood. He's building a second Rex and getting some houses up, and just gathered the resources to age. And both players actually clicking up at pretty much the exact same time. And of course that wood that Forjustice ship makes enables him to get more infrastructure and more houses up, and even up this this economic deficit. So overall slightly different builds, but not very different results. All the scores are quite even. Although Conqueror is ahead by 10, I guess that's from the villagers. Yeah, Conqueror is chopping a lot of wood, and he's getting even more ahead in the villager count, and I think that's the right play. He has identified that this is gonna be a rather passive game, so if you can outboom your opponent ever so slightly, this just leads to a better scaling and mass later on in the game. And Forjustice is looking what's up with his units. He's probably not going to get too much done against this musket mass that Conqueror has amassed. 1 musket here, scouting around here, looking if Forjustice is on these hunts already. And looks like Forjustice is just happy with regaining his Explorer. Maybe that guy can build a TC or just tank and snare. Is always good for that. Some sort of skirmish going on. Pretty good pick for Forjustice. He did kill 1 musket. Of course, that range advantage from the longbowman is quite beefy. More muskets being built. Conqueror now adding in his second Rex, and he really needs it. And probably the unit composition of these 2 players is gonna be a ton of muskets, and then the 2 falconet shipment. And I wonder if either player is gonna mix in an artillery foundry to just secure himself a scaling advantage, because if you can train more falconets against just pure infantry, that's pretty much always good. And this musket just gets so much information here. That's a really nice play. He identifies, I think, the second racks, or maybe that was the first one, I don't recall. But he's not gonna spot this artillery foundry that Forjustice is building. And Conqueror does not have one himself. Actually, the foundry going up right now, so still gonna be even on that account. And Forjustice being very greedy with 1,000 wood. And he still has to finish up his mana boom. Conqueror is just ahead by 8 villagers. Because he was just a lot more greedy, and I don't really know how he got everything even and just has like 8 more villagers out of nothing basically. Wow, and Forjustice is going for a culverin right away. I guess the read that you have if your opponent is fortress and his passive is just so strong that he's gonna be shipping falconets that you just mix in a culverin blindly, and he's probably gonna get 2 out. And Conqueror is making more falconets. And neither player knows about the opponent's artillery foundry, but they can just assume it basically. It's pretty much the best thing you can do in this situation. Cav doesn't really help much against mass musketeers, and both of these units are now upgraded for veteran to veteran. Of course, Forjustice had to invest a little bit more, and Conqueror only has the longbowman from the age up, and he's going for a musket raid. These guys can one-shot a villager if it doesn't have village HP, which it doesn't. And also Conqueror, he actually has villager HP. They only killed 1 musket, and then they have to move away because the main army is coming. 2 culverins coming out, and probably both players gonna look to engage pretty soon. Conqueror got out 3 extra falconets, so this is quite scary. Even with 2 culverins, this can be daunting to deal with. But he did get his a falcon shipment in as well, and he gets some good volleys. So now he has the military advantage and also the better composition. And actually, Conqueror did ship 8 villagers, so that's why he is ahead so much in the villager graph. And did that explorer actually see the culverins? If he did, that's quite big. And more culverins, and actually I think he did see it, or maybe Conqueror just thinks, my opponent has falcons as well, I need culverins too. Both players now starting to get more spread out on the map. And this is when musket raids like these, they are guarding these resources over here, become scarier and scarier. Looks like Forjustice is pushing up, and he has to be careful to not walk into any falconet volleys, because that can swing the game really quick, especially these longbowmen. They are very low HP. And, oh, does he get a volley? I think yes. And not the best spread on the falconets, but he gets 1 falc down right away with his culverins. Insane falc volleys going down, the next falconet going down, and after this you don't really care if the culverins snipe down your falc slowly. You just get so much value out of them because you can kill all the musketeers here. And this has been a great trade for Conqueror. Just getting that first snipe. He has to be careful. I think he doesn't want to lose the last 2 falconets, and he can just kill the culverins now for free basically. And after that he will just have a big lead. Now the falconets should come back in, or maybe it's a little bit too soon. Once the culverins are down. Yeah, they are a little bit passive. This fight is too even. Conqueror could take a better trade if the falcs were here already, but he's nevertheless gonna be able to clean this up. He still has some musketeers over here, which he maybe should bring, but actually probably doesn't matter. Nicely snaring the musketeers with a musketeer of his own, also calling Minutemen to boost his timing, and this trade just went so well for Conqueror. The macaque getting killed, that looks quite brutal actually. And now Forjustice getting chased back. He is behind in military, behind in economy by quite a bit. And looks like this explorer gonna get revived. If he sends 1,000 wood, maybe he's even gonna build a TC. 2 falconets coming out. These could get some really good volleys. Yeah, these guys are low HP. Unfortunately, 1 volley going on to the explorer. That's not too good. Every volley counts here to even up the military population, but Conqueror has to pull back. He did trade quite ineffectively, but he's still in a good spot. He has to be careful though. The Falconers has to be reloading now. The other one can shoot. And unfortunately, he did shoot at the musketeers again, so the artillery is now dead again. Actually, oh my god, the volley going onto the barracks, and now the Conqueror Falconets unpacking. And okay, no, the Falconer did actually go down. I thought it was still up because the volley went into the barracks. But now there's quite a big musket mass that can just is faster than these artillery units and can just snipe these down for free. They are both low HP. Conqueror trying to make Forjustice pay for it, but he doesn't really have enough muskets over here. And mind you, this is 10 military pop that's pretty much not being used, but now it will be used. And Forjustice can't really go on, so quite some scrappy trades. These muskets still being unused. I would like to see them run into the base, maybe while the fighting is going on, to snipe some villagers, get some raiding done, just distract everything. Outpost over here did go up and now it's going down, because Forjustice wants access to these hunts over here. And Conqueror getting zoned away, so I think yeah, maybe not, but I think there's an argument to be made that the fighting should take place down here now. Or Conqueror just switches to this hunt to get his food and con. And Conqueror has full musketeer upgrades, so these guys are very beefy and trade very effectively. And Forjustice, because he's still behind in the military population, training 2 more Falconets, has to ship 9 musketeers. But he's still behind in the mill pop, and they're gonna get some swings, but I don't think they will be able to kill any of these Falconers. But getting them down to around half HP, both of them actually. And oh, Forjustice not reacting. Oh, is he gonna kill them? No, but they are so low HP. Like the one culverin shot with some decent splash is just gonna kill them, or just a musket shot actually. More long moment coming in. They have been shipped, but against 4 Falconers there's not really much he can do and has to call GG. And I think that just came down to Forjustice having a slightly weaker economy, and then he pushed in and gave Conqueror basically the defender's advantage, which that and also better control from Conqueror made a pretty even fight go very well for him. Well, kinda even. He did have the better composition with the Falconers, and the culverins came out just in time to snipe down Forjustice Falconers. So after that it was basically over, and if you look at the rest gathered, Conqueror pulling ahead in the last portion of the game, and also having a ton more villagers. So the score is now...
Alright, welcome everyone. I am apparently just taking over the stream. So my name is Kaiser Klein. I'm gonna be casting the remaining 3 games, I believe. So we have now Conquerer999 against Forjustice. I don't actually know the score right now. I wasn't able to watch the first games, so I don't really know the state of the series right now. But it should be pretty close games, maybe. Alright, yeah, it's 1-1 currently, so pretty close. I hope the stream is live and running, but I'm gonna check about that in a couple minutes. So it looks like we have Adirondacks now, and they agreed on playing Germany against Japan, which is, you know, not the worst matchup for Germany, but I and a lot of other German players seem to just dislike it pretty much from the German side. It just feels like you gotta really micro really well in this matchup, because well, war wagons are kind of awkward and ashes are really fast. Nagis are really tanky, so hit and running Ashi Nagi can be pretty tough. But also even just killing Yumis when you have only a low HP cav unit is also sometimes a problem. So we'll see how this plays out. You have a lot of ways to play it from both sides. You can, like I said, you can have Ashi Nagi or more like Yumi Club. But from the German side, you can also see some sort of some AFF, or more like crossbow pike opening into whatever. Basically, it can be prolonged colonial play sometimes, depending on what Japan does. It can be an age up. Or you can also see Germany just go for the straight FF. So it kind of depends on the start and on what Japan does. So we'll have to see about that. So yeah, the score is 1-1 indeed. And yeah, so we do see a wood start, which is quite nice for both of these civs. But it looks like Conqueror might have forgotten about going for his trading post. I think he will still be able to get his XP in time, but he just wasted a little bit of time going on top. He might as well have maybe crackshot that 40 food. If you're gonna anyway go on top and waste some time, then you might as well get the most out of it and just crackshot that. But yeah, he will get his XP in time, so that's not a big deal. Japan also is gonna get his XP in time because he's going for a trading post here, and he's got 2 explorers to build that. He did get a nice 40 wood treasure, I believe, which means he did not have to chop any wood for that trading post and the shrine. Just instantly building a shrine in his base, maybe even with the Vil. I didn't quite pay attention. Also gonna find an 80 XP, which is you know, not all that useful for the time being. He's got already so much XP income from the trading post. Unless he wants to ship a second shipment in H1, in which case 80 XP could be quite impactful. And we have seen Forjustice go for that kind of build before, something like maybe 300 wood into Heavenly Kami in H1. So, you know, maybe that 80 XP is actually going to be relevant because when he gets second XP pass, now he will nearly have another shipment. And then we may see something like Heavenly Kami come in. Could build a consulate from the 300 wood and just add another shrine once Kami's in. And just have that Portuguese consulate up in time. But no, we see some more standard builds from Forjustice. So just going for the classic 3 boats, which is probably just the best Japan H1 shipment in most situations. So it makes a lot of sense that he's going for a 3 fishing boat shipment now. Boss player is gonna find a 90 food treasure, which is quite nice for both of them, but looks like Forjustice is gonna start it. But Dictator is gonna wait and probably be able to steal it. He is going to reveal himself though. Yeah, this is tough for Germany because he's out of range of the wolf, so he doesn't really have control on that treasure contention right now. He's gonna have to wait for the wolf to die, and it's kind of easier for Japan to know about it because he's the one shooting. But regardless, it looks like Conqueror did get the 90 food, and it's gonna help him a lot. Because you tend to be a little bit late on your age up as Germany when you go for an H1 TP, especially as it looks like he has been herding 2 hunts at the same time, which is not ideal. He's got some walking time here. So, you know, getting that 90 food, he's still going to have some idle time, not quite aging at the perfect 3 minutes time. A little bit of 10 seconds idle time maybe, but still going to be much less thanks to that 90 food treasure here. Japan is also aging up with the standard Toshugo Shrine. He's got... Oh, he went for double fishing boats actually. Okay, so he's got 6 boats. So not that standard after all. It does look like that 80 XP and the XP from the early TP is enabling Forjustice to go for that double H1 shipment, which is by no means bad. I don't play enough Japan to know if that is better than just like keeping the shipment or doing something different like another kind of H1 shipment, but it's surely not bad. It's an interesting build by Forjustice. What I dislike about this build is that when you have 6 boats on the water, it essentially means that your opponent can ship 2 caravels, and it's worth it. Basically, killing 6 boats for a 2 caravel shipment is definitely a good trade, especially as you will still have your caravels alive, and your caravels might be able to maybe siege some shrines or something, or help you in a fight or anything. So you still get some value out of these caravels after you kill the boat. So it's definitely a very good trade for you if you ship 2 caravels now as Germany. However, it's not like Germany can know about it. He doesn't necessarily know that there are 6 fishing boats out here, so he will probably not go for the 2 caravel shipment. So it's probably not going to be a big deal. But still, I think it's a point worth mentioning. Anyway, Germany does not have the caravels in deck, so it doesn't matter. Pretty standard deck. He does have an extra age 4 shipment, which kind of makes sense against Japan instead of having, say, 2 settler wagons or 5 Ulans. You're probably not gonna need that, so maybe might as well have the Polish winged hussars, which are a really strong age 4 shipment. Forjustice getting a nat, not gonna be too impactful right now, but it might, you know, it's just 1 more unit, so it might be nice for him if they come to fight soon. Also against the early 2 Ulans, like you probably, well, I would fight this if I was dictator, but looks like none of them are actually paying attention here. So yeah, we do have a sort of forward barracks and consulate going up. Kind of risky by Japan, but that's because he's going for 5 ashes first. So he feels like he can't afford to go for that forward base here, because you know, Germany could, you never know if Germany is gonna ship like 8 crossbows when he just sees that you're going for a front base. He could just ship 8 crossbows first and train a batch of units and just nuke you basically. But because Japan shipped these 5 ashes here, he has a decent mass of them, and I think he's safe for the time being. A stable opening for Germany, which is kind of weird. He's training some Ulans. You don't usually really open Ulans against Japan. It just feels like they don't really achieve anything. If you want to siege down the shrines, then you might as well go for pikes, because obviously pikes are much more efficient when it comes to sieging shrines down. If you want to raid, well, too bad, you're against Japan and you can't. So your Ulans are sort of useless. They are good at killing the explorers and chasing down the explorers, but you don't need to train them for that. You have already some free Ulans, so I don't really know what is the point of going for Ulans here. And because of this Ulan opening, he's actually in trouble. I mean, look what the hell. That is a lot of stuff right there. So Germany called Minutemen and wasted them, because really then you don't want to have that kind of Minutemen pop. And now he's got 5 crossbows, so maybe gonna be okay, but really there's a lot of ashes here. It looks like Japan has shipped another time 5 Ashigaros, and 5 crossbows is not enough to take on this mass of ashes, and there's no more Minutemen either. Because this is, now is when Germany would like to call Minutemen maybe to just defend that, but now that he wasted them, he's not in a very good spot. He's gonna lose a settler wagon here. Gonna pull back, playing it safe, don't wanna overcome it or anything, but now again Germany pushing out, and these ashes are just faster. 8 bows though are gonna be very nice for Germany. He could even clean up if Japan keeps pushing, but Japan is just gonna pull back. So he got the TP down, he killed the settler wagon, he got some good trades, forced the Minutemen out. So pretty good trade for Japan here. Germany is gonna get a couple free kills now to try and, you know, get the most out of it, out of this crossbow shipment now. So you know, it's not GG or anything, but I would say that this has gone pretty well for Japan so far. I don't see this being any good for Germany. I mean, he's already staying longer in colonial than maybe he would like to. You know, like aging after 4 cards is maybe not ideal as Germany against Japan, unless you achieve something like doing some damage, and then it's totally okay for Germany to stay that long in colonial. But if you're just on the back foot like that, gonna lose a settler wagon and some your TP and stuff, it's definitely not very good for Germany to stay that long in H2. Then again, Japan was pretty all in. He did ship 4 wheels now, but Japan, it doesn't have a ton of shrines. It doesn't have a ton of eco, so it's not like Japan is in the greatest position ever. But I do feel like this is looking pretty good for Japan. And now he's gonna come in again just when Germany is trying to age. Oh no, what is going on? 3 Ulans probably gonna die. Actually, he did not snipe the low HP ones. 2 of them have 0 HP actually. Pretty funny. But yeah, so gonna save these houses. This crossbow mass is nice, but what if now we see a batch of Nagis coming out? That stable is gonna be a bit late. he might have wanted to get a bit less clubs out maybe and get the stable earlier, because imagine if instead of like 8 or 9 ashes here, he would have just 5 Nagis. No more Minutemen for Germany. No, I mean, almost no cav to defend his crossbows. He's got like a few low HP Ulans. No pikes, no dubs, nothing. Well, okay, he's got 3 pikes now, but if there were 5 Nagis on the field right now, and like it could just be GG, because Germany would lose his entire army almost for free, and then Japan would be left with a solid mass of ashes and would just right click. However, that the fact that this stable just went up only now means that maybe Germany is gonna survive for long enough to just secure the age up. Maybe, yeah, there you go. Now he's got more pikes in. So I really like that he made more pikes when he was aging. Already a safe way to age up here. Definitely worth making pikes, even though they're not the best unit, as long as it means you can hold and just buy enough time to ship something like 3 war wagons and just defend. But yeah, more ashes coming in, a few clubs, and a weak batch of 3 Nagis. This is a problem for Japan. I mean, he could have 10 Nagis by now or something, or at least get 1 batch of 5. But this is definitely a problem for him, because it's not enough cav to deal with this massive infantry. And Dictator does not have a shipment though. That is an even bigger problem for Germany. Not having a shipment right now is really it's dramatic, really. I mean, he would. I don't know how he's gonna hold without a shipment. He's gonna get cornered here, which would be kind of okay if he could get a decent value out of his crossbows and then pop a shipment. But he doesn't even have a shipment on the way now. He's gonna get some XP from fighting, but it's gonna be too late. He's getting cornered here. Just ashes shooting away at everything. And oh, I do like the veteran crossbows, but unfortunately they're just toast now. There could be 3 war wagons out if only Dictator did not lose his training post. He would have 3 war wagons and all the vet crossbows, and maybe he would be in a decent position, but it looks like he's just getting cleaned up. And all things considered, Germany is just really far behind in eco, and he's just barely got a shipment on the way, and surely 1 unit shipment is not going to be enough to deal with that mass of units here. And so it just comes down to opening with Ulans instead of opening with crossbows, because if he opened with the crossbows here, he would have saved his trading post already. He would not have lost his trading post, and he would have a shipment ready upon age up. So yeah, opening Ulans really, in a way, cost Dictator the game, or at least was part of the reason why he lost. So now he's gonna try his best to hit and run, but 4 war wagons don't even one-shoot a Nashigaru. You can see it's not enough, and he's gonna try to micro, and doing a good job so far. Not getting shot too much, but really, this is too good for Japan. Even if you keep kiting forever, it's just sort of like not what you want. Like, Japan is also buying time for himself. I mean, he's just got so much more eco. He's got almost twice the eco at this point, and he doesn't care about losing a couple units to these war wagons here. The entire German eco is idled. He's not gathering anything. So like, unless there's 8 skirms popping soon, which is not gonna happen, there's still a little bit longer before that, but unless Germany can pop 8 skirms and completely clean up somehow, he's lost. And there's more Nagis coming, so there's no way 8 skirms is enough. 3 war wagons left. Not enough to one-shoot the Naginata, so if 8 skirms pop, they just gonna die. And I think we're about to see Dictator resign in the next seconds now, because there's really no way he can defend that. So yeah, GG, interesting build. Kind of showing why you can't afford to make mistakes as Germany against Japan. Just that cap opening was sloppy, and then that Minutemen pop was sloppy by Dictator as well, just a waste of Minutemen. And he lost his training post. He didn't achieve anything with his H2 units. I mean, do you really want to be sitting in your base the whole time as Germany, aging that late and just doing nothing and just defending? It's just not how you want it to go. If he was just opening with crossbows, he would have 10 crossbows out by the time Japan has 10 ashes, and 10 crossbows is enough to hit and run 10 ashes if you're close enough to your base. And then he could be just fine and maybe age earlier, maybe get good trades, maybe not lose his trading post and end up maybe winning the game. But yeah, that was a bit sloppy by Dictator here, really. Like, even when he called Minutemen, he did not even get a good trade out of them. They just died and killed a couple units, but... and then, yeah, like, obviously... just a terrible fight for Dictator here. Yeah, I'm reading the chat. It's true. Yeah, this matchup is not too good for Germany, and Germany does lack some tools to beat Japan. I mean, just the fact you have to go for crossbow pike is a bit sad. I mean, you can't anyway go for it as any civ. Like as France, for example, you may want to go for crossbow pike against Japan, crossbow pike semi. But my point is that at least France has the ability to mix in some musketeers or even to open musketeers, because if you see that your opponent is going for ashes directly, then you can go musketeers yourself. Crossbows is more because you want to challenge the Yumis and maybe pressure the Vils. But if you're going to defend as France against this kind of gameplay, you can just go for musketeer semi-FF and age up and get falconets, basically. And if Japan is not fast enough, he has no way to deal with your falconets. But Germany doesn't have that kind of options, so it can be a little bit tricky. So this makes it 2-1 for Justice in this in this playoff 5. Sorry. Looks like he's gonna lock Aztecs on Iowa, and Dictator is instantly gonna counterpick with Ottomans here. So this should be a pretty good matchup for Otto. Maybe I'm not sure on Dispatch anymore. It feels like there are some options for Aztecs to deal with Ottomans for sure. And most importantly, you basically can't ever stagecoach. I mean, if you get to stagecoach as Ottomans against Aztecs, it means you've already won the game probably, because well, Aztecs are surely gonna go for front base, so usually you shouldn't be able to get a stagecoach, and that can be a problem for Otto, because without stagecoach they have a really low eco, and yeah, at least it's a wood start, which is pretty good for Ottomans here, going directly for the leftmost trading post, which is the best one you can get, so that's good by Dictator here. But Aztecs may be also going for it, but somehow I don't know. Did he stop to pick up any treasure or something? Yeah, he stopped to pick 30 coin. That's kind of a big mistake. If you're gonna rush the TP, when you know you're up against Otto, and Otto, you know they're gonna take a TP, right? So if you're gonna rush the TP, you might as well... What? I'm so confused. I think he just shift-clicked his Explorer away, and it bugged, or he just failed, and his Explorer just went away directly, and so Forjustice was actually able to build it. This is so huge. I mean, or maybe he was just afraid, and he felt like he didn't want to build his TP and get attacked, but that would be stupid, because it's anyway gonna get snared now, so he should have already just built that TP. I don't know what happened exactly. I was really confused by what the fuck just happened, but so he's gonna build that middle TP now, which is just sad. Obviously, whenever you can, you want to get the ones on the left or the right of the map, because it's harder for your opponent to siege them down, and it's easier for you to siege your opponent's TP down if it's in the middle. So this would be much better if Otto had the left one. Plus, obviously, Aztec just got so much more XP from that left TP because he didn't miss the pass. So Ottoman is even gonna age late because he's never gonna get his reveals in. I mean, he's gonna get them after he started aging, I think, basically. Although he does have the Musk, which helps, so maybe not. It does bring you some XP as well. 80 XP for Ottoman. But yeah, that is really tragic here. Just what happened there is really, really sad for Otto. It's such a bad start for Otto already after that. And so Aztec decided to just skip the fire pit and go for a trading post and use the wire priest to help take treasures. But I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, I feel like this wire priest is essentially useless right now. It does only 5 attacks, so and that guy is almost worth a trading post himself. So I really don't like the idea of just using it for treasures and building a TP. But it does make sense on this map because for one thing, you get an insane XP from that TP, and for another, well, stage, like I said, you shouldn't be able to get stagecoach as Otto, but you know, it depends on what Aztec is doing. Maybe he's gonna go more greedy. Either way, having one trading post on the line can't be a bad thing against Otto. It can prevent him from taking more trading posts, so it's good against Otto. And now he's gonna be able to heal his Explorer. Looks like Ottoman is going for a Tower FF. He's macroing for it. What a big surprise. I have never seen anyone go for a Tower FF before. It's pretty refreshing for sure. But then again, it's probably just the right build against Aztecs. Abus Jan doesn't do too well against Aztecs because Coyote Mace is pretty good against that. The Jans don't really counter Coyotes too much. So it's pretty hard to deal with mass Coyotes and some Maces in the back. So I can understand why you would not want to stay H2 in this matchup and just Tower FF instead. But I'm kind of confused about why Dictator is still gathering gold now. Is it for Minutemen maybe? Nah. He's got too much gold. But it's not gonna really delay his age up anyway, so that's not a big deal. That is a very weird fire pit position. I don't understand why you would want your fire pit to be so far away from your town center. It's just, yeah, weird. What is Aztec doing though? So he edged up with the double war huts, sent them forward, and gonna go for a front base. Not too far forward though. I guess he didn't scout the tower FF, because if you scout that your opponent aged with the tower, you might as well send your war huts maybe a little bit more forward. Although maybe he just wants to have them a bit safer in the back. Maybe he plans on aging up at some point and he doesn't want them too far forward to just die instantly to the Falcon achievement, something like that. So we'll have to see. Aztec taking another trading post. It looks like he might want to go for Stagecoach here. He's mined some gold, so unless he's gonna age real soon, I think this gold is for Pumas, and he's gonna try to take down that middle TP with some Pumas. Yeah, Pumas on the way. 5 of them in queue already. And meanwhile, going for a pretty greedy build order there. 700 wood, 3 warrior priests. And Auto is well in the way to H3. Dropping a barracks now. And just very standard, you know, Auto Tower FF stuff. He just sent something and then canceled it. Anyway, so we're gonna have Jans in queue. Puma is gonna start sieging down that middle TP. Did not get the fire pit tech. I mean, if you're gonna play greedy like that, I feel like getting that tech is pretty good. He would already get a free extra 80 XP from it. Well, anyway, Ottoman is up pretty fast. Before 7 minutes here. Aged up with the Abus guns, which I find quite questionable in this situation. Maybe he wanted them just in case he was gonna get Puma Mace rushed or something, in which case I can understand that Abus guns would be pretty good. But overall, for Hassas is just superior, and if you're gonna play against colonial Aztecs, or, well, I mean, regardless, you kind of want some units to defend your falconets, and the 4 Hussars also help you in that regard, while 4 Abuscans don't help you defend your falconets at all. 8 Jans. So I don't think that Stagecoach is gonna really pay off. Aztec is gonna try to age now. He's got too much coin. I don't think he should have shipped the second time 600 gold. Unless he wants to go industrial after that, but I don't think so. So I feel like the gold is maybe a bit wasted here. Look at that. He's basically gonna be floating a full 600 gold. So it really is a waste of a shipment here. But yeah, so here comes the Ottoman counter push. He's gonna be taking back the trading post. He needs to chop for it. It's not easy because you kind of need your wood for houses and for vet jams and all that stuff. But taking even 1 TP here with Stagecoach as auto when going for a tower FF is really good because, like I said, well, you need wood, right? You need wood for houses and stuff. So even 1 TP can help you so much to get your housing. So Dictator is gonna push forward now. Aztec is gonna be up. We see a great 22 vills and 19 for Ottoman. What a boom from both of these players. I feel like he could have sneaked in 5 vills instead of 600 gold maybe. Or just keep the shipment, but yeah. So these war hearts are gonna go down pretty much instantly. So yeah, they did buy a little bit of time, but not much really. And now Aztec is up. He's got just 1 war heart in base. He danced for Warrior Priest at the same time, so at least he does have 10 Warrior Priests now, which is always nice. But his eco is really not good. I mean, he does have 2 TB Stagecoach to 1, but he's got only 3 more vills, which is not very good against Otto, and the military gap is massive. And now we see that awkward fire pit position, it's just getting right clicked here, and gonna lose some houses as well, so he's gonna be housed. I hope he's got the TP set to wood now. We'll keep an eye on it. He does, but he's gonna be housed anyway. And he needs to rebuild the fire pit. He's got all his idle Warrior Priest. This is like probably 15 or 20 idle vills right now, so that's not too good. And 18 maces. Oh wow, they do have more range now and more HP, I believe, but they're not upgraded to veteran. And he needs something to deal with the falconets, so I don't know if that's the wrong deck. I don't know if, yeah, he's got 6 Arrow Knights in deck, so he could just ship that and try to kill the falconets with them. But I drop a market, he needs to buy some wood to build some houses, but these vills are in great danger here. That War Chief is also not upgraded or anything. It still has 1k 2 HP somehow, but you know, it's not the super lame War Chief we know. Oh, that is interesting. He's gonna try to stealth his Jaguars, but he's gonna pull the Warrior Priest. Maybe a unit shipment gonna come out as well. He's got a shipment in the bank. Aztec could be fighting after the shipment. These maces are getting just blasted away. This is not too good. Falconets also do great against Warrior Priests because they have a multiplier against them. So this is GG. Game is over. That was the last effort from Aztec. I mean, he's lost his entire army. He's lost basically his entire eco, as in the Warrior Priest, and he's gonna resign now. I don't know why he did not wait for the shipment. He had a shipment in...
Yes.
I think with veteran maces and a 6 Arrow Knight shipment, he could totally deal with that. Or maybe even 10 Coyotes, I don't know. Probably just 6 Arrow Knights and just kill the Falconets and then you're good, right? I don't even think that build is lame. I mean, it's maybe... The Tower FF is pretty good against the stacks, probably, but it didn't... Even now, it did not feel unwinnable or anything for a stack. He just needed to... Yeah, to really get the 6 Arrow Knights on the field, and then he was okay, I think. Also, yeah, maybe aging and getting 10 Warrior Priests and getting Stagecoach is too greedy against a Tower FF. And yeah, that did not go well for Aztecs at all. All right. So, yeah, this is the last game of this playoff 5. So it's currently 2-2. These teams being Forjustice is from the Nila Ninjas and Conquerer being from the Bigs. As you may know, these matches don't really have any impact on the tournament standings, because no matter how much they score for their teams, these teams will not qualify. So no matter how much these players score, it's just let's say it's just for entertainment and for personal pride maybe, but it's not for your team at this point, because CMC and MDS have been qualified already. It's I can't say that word. It's mathematically impossible for any of these teams to qualify now. And so Dictator decided to pick Portuguese first on this map, which does make sense. There is a lot of water potential here. It's sort of pretty hard to push the water on this map. There is that show here, which is, you may get shot by the town center if you come too close, depending on the spawn. This one is maybe a little bit closer to the shore. But it's just if you build a dock in your base, like your warships, they have to go around the whole map if they want to be pressuring this side. And if you want to build a dock like here to push your opponent's water, well, it's just maybe you're not gonna get it up or something, because it's not in a safe location. So it can be quite hard to challenge water. Also, your opponent can also build a dock on this island here, and just good luck dealing with that. So I'm not saying water is overpowered here or anything, but it can be tricky to push on water on this map, which may be why Dictator decided to go for Portuguese. However, I really dislike that early trading post here, as Portuguese overall, it just doesn't feel good unless you go for a 10-10, which is not what he's doing. He could have gone for a 10-10, so basically just don't chop anything, gather food age as soon as possible with 10 vills and a trading post. And he could have done that with the 3 cows. He could eat them and age in time, probably. But not doing that, which means he's going to age late. And I'm not sure you want to age late against autos. He's going to be up with one more vill, basically. He's going to have to go for a 14 vill age up for sure. Even if he's going to get a few food treasures, it should not be enough. So it's going to be a bit late. White Otto is going to be real quick. And he also did get the best trading post with the first XP here, so the 3 vills from the Ottoman player should come in pretty early here. Gonna be nice for him. What did Otto actually get? He's working on a 70 wood treasure here and got a small 30 food. I didn't, well, it was a wood start actually, yeah. There's a mosque, he built a TP, so it was a wood start. Maybe he can get the mosque upgrade, yeah, with that 70 wood, it's quite nice, you can get the mosque upgrade for your vills. Although I wonder if it's not worth maybe just keeping the wood for trading post and then after getting the upgrade. I don't know, it's probably doesn't make a big difference. 50 wood here. Another nice pickup for Otto, maybe. It looks like he's not gathering for a trading post, so maybe we see another tower FF. And you can actually go for a tower FF with a second TP, but I don't know why people don't. Like you can chop for a second TP and tower FF and just age in time anyway. Which is, I feel like it's just superior in a lot of situations, but people don't do it for some reason. Although he may not be going for a tower FF, he's gathering more than 100 gold, so it looks like he's maybe just going for a regular FF, or I don't know, yeah, probably just a 400 wood FF, which is a bit slower, but allows you to build a second TP or maybe a barracks directly upon age up. So it's a bit harder for your opponent to scout it because the tower instantly gives away your strategy, but 400 wood does not. And also you may be able to build a barracks upon age up with the 400 wood, so then maybe they're gonna think, okay, he's going for some sort of Jan Samai or something. Could even build it forward, like could be a nice mind game to build a forward barracks here. You could even be as cheeky as to build that barracks in line of sight of the opponent's TP so that he thinks you're going for a Jan Samai or some sort of aggressive build, and then he would just stay in base with some infantry just defending, and meanwhile in fact you're just FFing. That could be a good mind game. But yeah, it is going to be an FF. We do see Forjustice stacking 300 gold, gonna see 700 gold come anytime now in the field. And second TC in base for Portuguese, aging up with 500 food, so he's also going for that FF. He went for a TP in H1, but did not ship any shipments, so he's gonna have a ton of shipments. So now he can for sure ship 700 wood and still fast age and have a shipment ready after that. So it can be, it's interesting. It can be a good build. I wonder why he decided to not go for that treasure. I think with your upgraded colonial explorer, you can go for that. And a bit of micro maybe. It's 140 coin, it's not nothing. So yeah, Dictator is now aging. So pretty quick age up time here. 700 wood now coming in. But it looks like he's got another shipment on the way. I mean, there's no way he's got only 2 shipments the whole game after going for an H1 TP. He must have a shipment on the way. So I reckon it is Colonial Militia, probably. Might cancel it, might not cancel it, I don't know. But he's aging slow, so he feels like he can send another shipment while aging. So it kind of has to be Colonial Militia, right? I mean, what else would you ship now? So Colonial Militia coming in, and that's interesting, but I never was a big fan of that preemptive Colonial Militia style. it's very easy to scout by just clicking on a TC, just seeing the attack has increased, and just playing accordingly. I mean, Otto can just get the straight TP stagecoach now and drop some extra TCs, maybe drop a TC here as Otto and get complete map control. And then what do you do with your colonial militia and base? Okay, you don't die because you have it, but you don't have any map control and you just kind of wasted a card. So we'll see how it goes, but not a big fan of that. Forjustice, 1k wood first. Adding TCs. Seems to be playing into Portuguese hands at this point. I feel like you want to at least try to pressure before you do that. Imagine if instead of going for 2 crates now, he would have just gone for 8 Jans, 2 Falks, just a standard FF push, you know? He could have maybe denied that town center, maybe forced Dictator to place it in base, or even better, just kill it. And but now because he's going so greedy, that TC will go up and secure another hunt and a coin mine, which can be enough for Portuguese to survive long enough to outboom. So maybe a little bit of a questionable opening here in Fortress. Also does need... Okay, he's gonna gather that gold. He did skip 700 wood. I guess it was a fast stage actually. Yeah, okay, he aged fast, so that's why he opened 1k wood. But maybe after 1k wood he could have gone for something else than 1k coin. But well, anyway, we do see an artillery foundry up. Oh, 1 Vil going down, another one gonna go down. No, he didn't shoot at the Vil. So what is on the way? Abyss guns, I like that. Falconets would be what people do nowadays and it would be quite bad, but Abyss gun is definitely good here. So that doesn't look good at all for Ottoman here. I mean, he's on the back foot already. Wait, I didn't see that. Why would you drop a TC here? There's no hunt, just a coin mine. You're Otto, you're so much faster. You've got plenty of time to build a TC here or there, or I don't know, any better position. More Vil's gonna go down as well. That is not looking good for Otto. I mean, he's gonna get outboomed even if he's got 3 TCs. Oh, well, I guess he's got all the upgrades, so he's not gonna get outboomed so much. But he's behind by 8 Vils, so he's technically already behind in eco. Although he does not need to spend resources on training Vils, which is nice. But yeah, you know, it's just like ports are just happy to have more time now and just keep making Vils and train units. And maybe Otto at some point, you know, he can get the 2 Falconets, he can get Abyss guns, so that's a lot of really strong things you can get against Portuguese here. But I don't know if Ports is gonna give Otto enough time. He's just ahead in military and he's killed a bunch of Vils already. 4 Vils have died for Otto. I don't know that right-clicking the TC without any siege power is the right way to play now. Maybe he wants to be poking with his Cazadors, something like that. But this smells like another commit here. Like, I could see Minutemen and Shipmen popping. Anything, even 5 Hussars would probably clean this up. So Jan combat though? What? He's got 17 Jans. It's such a bad shipment right now. Even 5 Abus, which is not a great shipment, could have been good just to defend this. But Jan combat is terrible. It's even worse because he doesn't have Falconets or anything, so these Jans are essentially useless now. There's just no reason to have Jans against unit composition unless you have Falconets or more Abus guns you want to cover. But right now he's just got a bunch of upgraded useless giants basically. Although these Abus guns are trading really well against Cazadors, of course. Oh, that is not good for Portuguese. We do see 1k gold for Dictator here, but is he gonna ship MAMs? Yeah, interesting. MAMs are good, but he needs more Cazadors basically. Right now he doesn't have enough skims to snipe the giants, so if you have only MAMs and you can't kill the units, because the MAMs are already tanky, but they don't really kill stuff so much. So you need some firepower behind, and these guns are nice, but they're not the best against giants and Abus. While a few more Cazadors, I wonder why he's making that many guns. Maybe if he had even 10 or 15 Cazadors, it may be enough to clean this up with MAMs. But if he's gonna keep making just goons, I don't know if he can crush this fight. What? Abus gun HP. He's got 12 of them. Again, a terrible shipment, especially in H3. Why would you not go for 2 Falconets or... Well, okay, there aren't really a lot of Cazadors, but he doesn't know about it, and I think the normal thing to do would be to just ship 2 Falconets here at some point. I don't know why he's being so greedy. He could be in a good position if he just shipped units instead of upgrades, but now I'm afraid Otto can't fight this. There's too many units. Just the MAMs are not gonna die here, unless... Yeah, Dictator has a good micro, so he's gonna just pull back. And these giants don't have a lot of attack, so they don't kill the MAMs at range. They really need to go melee, but they will not be able to melee on top, and this is gonna be a massive cleanup. And this is when you wonder why he decided to go for these shipments now. And the goons getting on top of the Abus. Abus do good against goons, but they need to be covered, so when they get attacked like that, they just kind of die. And so that is pretty good control by Dictator here. I don't know, he must have lost maybe... Well, he's lost basically all his MAMs. And maybe 1 or 2 Dragoons and a couple Cazadors, but he's cleaned up the entire Ottoman army, so... If you look at units lost... Well, he lost some units earlier than that, but... Yeah, that was a really good trade for ports. And it just puts him ahead now in the military, and... Dragoon combat coming in now. I feel like 7 Cazadors would be better, but maybe he doesn't have them in deck. Or he does. Well, it would be better, I think. Oh, Abe is popping in the units here, not too good. So yeah, just Ottoman kind of feeding more free kills here. Although Abus is still trading, they do so much damage. Abus actually almost 2-shoot Cazadors, it's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, so Ottoman is, you know, he doesn't have a lot of map control. Like, he's got this here, but really there's no hunt here, so he's stuck on berries right now. Oh, that's another big raid. He's stuck on berries. As you can see, he was trying to grab some hunts, but Dictator is just doing a good job keeping him away from the hunts. A frigate coming in to secure the shore, but sure, it's gonna help right now, but this frigate is not going to be much more helpful after that, so it's kind of not too great for Otto here. So yeah, he's just got a few vills on hunt. Most of his vills are actually chopping wood or gathering berries. He's going to switch to gold a bit. He does have some gold in base, so that's one good thing for him. And another coin mine here. Wait, he's already used that, never mind. But I guess he does get the berries, which are not good, but at least it's some food, you know. So it's better than nothing, but yeah, it's not ideal for Ottoman. And meanwhile, Port's just, you know, grabbing this hunt in the middle of the map, just expanding on the map. Even though he didn't drop any TC forward, not much anyway, he still gets to gather from all the hunts. He's on berries as well, which is not super good, but you don't have walking time on berries, so it kind of makes sense. When you start spreading out your vills, keeping a few vills on berries makes sense. Oh, and these vills... Oh, he did ship infantry attack here. So yeah, you know, I'd rather first ship units, get in a strong position like Dictator, and then after that you can afford to go for the upgrades. But shipping upgrade and then dying is completely useless. You want to first ship units and then upgrades. But it's still a game. Ports is definitely ahead. He's ahead in eco. Not really ahead in military, but I mean, he's got Austin upgrades and probably gonna get counter infantry rifling as well. So, you know, he's kind of ahead in military, in fact. Oh, actually, he's aging now, so he's gonna stay behind. But wow, going industrial, which is probably fine. I mean, Otto is just adding some fishing boats. He's dropping 3 docks and just water booming now because he needs the food. And it's interesting. He's gonna outboom for sure, but it gives so much time for ports to age up. Oh, that's also feels bad, man. He's just adding Cav-Archers, but he's got Jan Combat. What a waste of a card. Like, he could have shipped something else and now ship Cav Combat instead of Jan Combat, maybe. But like, if you're gonna stop making Jans, then it just sucks to have Jan Combat in. Oh, nice volley here. Dictator gonna pull back. He just wanted to check what was going on, and he saw there's a big mass of Abus now. So Dictator is just gonna age and pull back safely. And let's see what he has in deck. Oh, 6 Cazadors and 6 Dragoons. Not a bad card for sure. It's decent. Heavy cannons, of course, insane, although not as insane against a Civ that has Abus guns, but still they do great against Abus. And some upgrades. So basically just heavy cannons here and this Haas to snare, and Otto could be in a very tough position. I don't see him winning the next fight. He doesn't have all that many units out. Also the military is kind of inflated because all these units are worth 150 or 160 resources, but they count as 2 pops, so he doesn't quite have that many units right now, basically. Gonna find a tower. 2 heavy cannons. Huh. Why is it called 2 heavy cannon without an S? It's kind of weird. So that tower is probably dead, but there's only 4 vills in it, and that's buying so much time. If I was ports now, I would probably just ignore these units, and you have time to just right click here, you bring your heavies. No way a frigate can deal with heavy cannons, so it would have to pull back. You can just nuke the town center. I guess trying to catch these units is also an option, but I wouldn't start running after him because the heavy cannons are really slow as well. So, oh, and it's being snared by the Explorer. Cheeky play here by Forjustice. But yeah, these units are gonna escape, get near the water, try to be a little bit safer. But this TC will go down, and even though Otto has started to outboom ports at this point, especially because he's got the fish market card in. Well, ports is H4, and when he decides to ship factories, he's gonna pull ahead anyway. And he's got the tech advantage. He's got guard Castadors, which are really strong on EP. I mean, these guys are better than the RE Castadors. They have less rate of fire but more attack, which means you can micro them better. Especially against Abus guns, you can poke and just run back. And he's got the attack card on them as well, so they have 36 attack right now. Even though again they do shoot quite a bit slower, but these A-bursts are still gonna be hard to deal with. I mean, with the frigate, it's not easy. Factory wagon coming out for ports. Apparently just being content to slow push this. Dictator probably doesn't feel like he has to do much. He's just denying map control, so Otto is gonna have to start making plantations or mills. Well, he does have some fish and waves, but it might not be enough. You can see he's got half of his eco and wood, so yeah, he's gonna have to drop plantations and other kind of buildings, which is not ideal, while Portuguese just using the coin mines on the map. But now Forjustice is up himself, so maybe it's time for Dictator to be a little bit more aggressive now and just go in. These Dragoons have been upgraded to Ginets though, so they're pretty strong. Abus guns being upgraded, cavalry archers also being upgraded, so very soon Otto is gonna have a very strong army. He does have CAF combat in as well. Oh man, this Abus, what a disgusting unit. Look at these. They just molest the Castadors here. Cavarcha is kind of in the wrong spot here, going too far forward. Still need to deal with the heavy cannons. It's not gonna be that easy. He's got the bombards, so he could go for 2 bombards. Or I don't know why you would have this card on EP in deck. In H4, it's not good. Ville's dying, so Portuguese pulling quite ahead in eco. Cavalcha's trying to go forward, but heavy cannons are really tanky, and they will go down. But oh look, did you see that volley? Okay, that's kind of GG. I mean, how do you survive here? It's like 70 pop against nothing, and look at the score. All of a sudden, Ports have pulled ahead by almost 100 score, and it's gonna keep going up and up, while Ottoman is gonna be pressured, so he's not gonna keep really booming so much. He's gonna probably have to bail all these villas in his TC, maybe lose them eventually. More Abus being picked off, although that frigate is putting in some work. And next thing you know, Dictator is just gonna ship the Ginets, the Genitors. So his Dragoon's gonna have 18 range instead of 14. And they're gonna be extremely strong. Fully upgraded. They're almost fully upgraded now. They really just need the Genitors. So it's, yeah. Kind of scary for Otto. I do feel like it's the end of the game. He's gonna keep trying and play it, but yeah, it's 3 villas going down, more villas gonna go down. And Portuguese making good use of the coin mines on the map, mining very forward. Oh yeah, I completely forgot to toggle the fog of war the whole game. More Abus. Yeah, you can't make Abus at this point. You can't. Abus are good when you have a good mass of them and when they're covered. But if you make them 5x5, they just get molested by the Ginets, and you need to make Jans here, I think. But no matter what you do, when there's so many more units, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, these Abus are not trading well. They keep getting picked off. that's kind of the weakness of Abus guns, because they do have some weaknesses actually. If you didn't know about that, but they on their own they suck. They really need to be covered, and there really need to be a decent amount of them. But in this situation, just like it's like feeding some kills at this point, just letting his Abus die. But Conqueror is not keeping the pressure on. I was calling the GG because I thought he would just sit in this base here, right click the TC, keep shooting at the vills. Like there's a bunch of vills here, but he's pulling back and just sitting down the TP, sitting down the buildings, which is giving some time for Otto to remass. Well, not remass, but remass some vills. Basically, he's training more vills and fishing boats, and it's still very much port favored, and yeah, again gonna waste his Abus. He needs to stop sending his Abus forward like that. He needs to cover them because they're just dying every time, and these trades are not good for Otto. And Abus are so expensive, you can't just waste them like that all the time. And these Jeanettes are such a nightmare to deal with. They're so strong. Not nearly as strong as an RE, but still really strong. Yeah, again gonna sit on top of the Abus. I wonder how many Abus is lost this game. Oh, 100 Abus gonna have died. That's insane trades for Portuguese the whole game. He's gonna just go in maybe and kill the frigate. Well, you can't kill it, but you can force it back when you have that many guns. Oh, there's two of them though. Oh, God Hustle is being added. They're also quite a bit upgraded, and that's gonna make it even harder for... Oh, gonna make it even harder for ports to make Abus guns now. Wow, and Dictator going for the massive water push. I didn't notice, but he's added a dock and been massing some frigates and upgrades. So he's got all upgrades, I think, on his warships. While Forjustice really doesn't. Ville's going down, TC going down, and once the water is contested, there's really nothing going for Otto anymore. Fishing boat's gonna die as well. So many vills here, what the hell? It's like 25 vills or something. That's very risky. And yeah, unprotected Abus gonna go down to the Hussars here. I wonder for how much longer this can keep going, but I mean, at some point Conqueror will go Imperial, so... yeah, and these monitors just doing so much. They're gonna wreck the whole base. I really think it's time for Justice to resign. He's gonna be 200 score behind, more than 200 score behind. These warships are really, really strong. He's got the attack and the special attack upgrade in them, while Forjustice only has offshore support, so they're a bit weaker. And there are less of them. Yeah. Was a fun game, but it's time to maybe move on. Alright, he's gonna resign. GG. So Dictator takes it 3-2. Pretty close series. Really, I think it really came down to Otto shipping Jan Combat and artillery HP that early in the game, and sort of just dying afterwards, very shortly afterwards, just because these upgrades didn't pay off and he was behind in military. So I think it really came down to that. And then after that, Dictator did a really good job at snowballing his lead. After he cleaned up early he kept Otto under pressure and then aged and then made sure he was constantly just taking good trades all the time. And I think we should see it pretty well in the graph. You can see when Otto aged, he just lost the game here. I mean, he lost the game, in my opinion, the first time here. That is when he shipped upgrades instead of shipping units, so he was behind. And then he managed to remass quite a bit, but he just died a second time because the heavy cannons did so much work. And then if you look at the graph, you can see how Otto was never after that able to really remass because Dictator was constantly just killing the units, and yeah, that's it. And Ports being constantly ahead in resources. Really good trades for Portuguese, especially when you take into account the fact that Abus are not a cheap unit. He still got such a good ratio. So yeah, pretty convincing game by Dictator here.